They say there's a witch in the woods, a woman older than time, a shadow that walks, whose house has legs, and whose smile is made of metal. They call her Baba Yaga. But if you ask those who still live in the old places, deep in the birch forests of Ukraine, in the marshes of Belarus, in the mountain villages of Slovakia, they won't call her a fairy tale. They'll call her real. Baba Yaga is not a bedtime story. She is not a Halloween costume. She is not misunderstood. She is remembered and feared. Because in Slavic folklore, Baba Yaga is not just a character. She is a force of nature, not evil, not good. She simply is, and she waits for you to come to her. Some say she's a spirit, some a demon, others a goddess forgotten by time, twisted by centuries of fear and silence. But all agree on one thing: she lives in the forest. She is the forest, and if she calls you, you will go. Her name is made of two parts. Baba, meaning old woman, grandmother, crone, but not always kindly. In old dialects, it could also mean hag or ogress. And Yaga, no one agrees. It may come from Yuga, an ancient word for horror, or Jitsa, a term for illness, plague, or wrath. Some scholars trace it back to Indo-European roots, meaning to suffer or to pursue. So her name means many things. Old woman, monster, devourer, sickness, judge. Her name is the last thing you hear when you go too deep. She doesn't wander. She waits. You don't find her. She lets you. And if you're chosen, your compass will spin, your maps will lie, and the trees will bend just enough to let you pass, but never enough to lead you out again. Her realm is a place between worlds, a border crossing, a place where death and life blur. It is where she tests you. She doesn't punish for fun. She doesn't help for free. She weighs your soul. In ancient times, before Christianity blanketed Eastern Europe, she was not called a witch. She was a gatekeeper, the one who stood between this world and the next. The crone aspect of the old triple goddess, maiden, mother, crone, the end of the cycle. The one who breaks you, so you may be reborn. You didn't fear her because she was evil. You feared her because you had to be worthy to survive her. You brought offerings, bread, salt, your own blood, if needed. You did not approach her hut empty-handed. And you never spoke her name at night, because if she heard you, she might come and she might ask for something. She is remembered in lullabies that don't rhyme, in tales whispered between vodka sips, and old women who go quiet when you ask about the woods. She is the last test of the spirit. She is the ancient judge who cannot be bribed. And whether you come seeking power or hope or escape, she will look through you. This is not just myth. It is memory. It is warning. It is folklore still alive in the mouths of the old. In Eastern Europe, the forest is not just a place. It is a presence, a memory that grows tall, roots deep, and speaks without a tongue. And Baba Yaga lives in the parts of the forest no one maps. The Slavs believed that everything had a spirit, the home, the river, the wind, but the forest? The forest was many spirits, some helpful, most indifferent, and a few hungry. There's an old belief: never enter past the last birch tree, because birch is sacred. Its pale bark is a word, a marker of the world you know. Beyond that line, that's where reality thins, where names don't hold power, where your thoughts might not be your own, and that is where Baba Yaga begins. She lives where the birds fall silent, where the moss grows on all sides of the tree, where your footsteps never echo. In Slavic folklore, forests are where humans are at their weakest. Our rules no longer apply. Time folds, direction twists, and death doesn't follow a straight line. Baba Yaga doesn't protect the forest. She is the forest, the part that watches, the part that judges. She doesn't need to leave her hut to find you. The forest is her body, every tree an eye, every fallen branch a finger pointed toward your guilt. Some say she sends dreams before she appears. Others say she whispers your name in the leaves. And if the trees begin to part for you, don't smile. That's not mercy. It's permission. There are stories from across Ukraine, Russia, Poland, of travelers vanishing on familiar trails, of finding paths that didn't exist the day before, of hearing wooden footsteps behind them, but seeing nothing when they turn. They describe it the same way: the forest opened to me like a mouth. And sometimes, when the wind dies and the trees hold still, and the moss seems thicker than it should be, you'll find a clearing. And in that clearing, bones, skulls, and a hut. Some say she builds her home wherever she senses dishonesty. Others claim she travels to places where people lie to themselves. She is the embodiment of unspoken truths. And the deeper you go into the forest, the less you can hide from her. She does not knock. She waits for you to arrive. And when you do, she already knows what you've done. That's why no one calls her a hermit. No one dares say she is gone, because every unwalked forest, every overgrown path, every trail that leads to nowhere could still be hers, The forest does not forget, and neither does she. So the next time you hike, and your trail splits without reason, and you feel like the woods are watching you, you may not be lost. You may be invited. In Slavic myth, there is a house that does not rest. A home that does not obey gravity. A dwelling that walks on legs not made for walking. They say if you see it in the forest, standing tall among the trees, facing away from you, do not speak. Do not move, because it's not waiting, it's deciding. The hut of Baba Yaga stands upon giant feathered chicken legs. No foundation. No fixed location. It spins. It stops. It watches. And no matter how far you travel, if she wants to test you, the house will be there. Deep low tone, like a heartbeat muffled by soil. One knock, like wood tapping bone. Some say it's made from the bones of those she's judged. That the walls whisper if you lean too close. That it's not a house at all, but a living spirit. A creature bound to her service. Or perhaps her jailer. There's only one way to make it stop spinning. Only one phrase that brings the door into view. Turn your back to the forest, your front to me. Say it wrong, and the house keeps turning. Say it too late and it walks away, leaving no trail, no door. No chance to escape. Say it correctly, and the front door appears. You may enter, but you may not leave. Inside it's not what you'd expect. Some say it's cramped, filled with cobwebs and bone dust. Others say it's endless, that rooms stretch further than they should. Hallways double back. Time collapses. They say it changes, reshaping itself to reflect what's inside you. Your guilt. Your shame. Your memories. The hut is not a place of comfort. It is a place of truth. If you lie, the floor will creak with every word. If you boast, the windows will fog and grow distant. If you tremble, you may hear the walls laugh. It's not just a house, it's part of her. Her mind, her body, her judgment. And the skulls that decorate its porch, they glow red at night. Each one belonged to someone who failed her test. In some versions of the tale, the house chooses who may approach. It steps away from those who come with malice. It tramples those who come with pride. But if you come seeking truth, it waits. Some believe the legs are not chicken at all, but bird of prey, symbols of spiritual flight. Others say they are cursed limbs from gods that Baba Yaga once devoured. No matter their origin, they move with purpose. They stomp across realms, bringing her to whoever must face judgment next. If you hear footsteps above you, if your walls creak like they're breathing, if feathers appear beneath your bed, it may not be a dream. Her house may be near. They say the house can't cross sacred thresholds. That iron, fire, or holy words can slow it down, but no one says how to stop it. Because once you see it, once you hear it walking through the woods toward you, you're already part of the tale. So if you find a clearing where there should be none and the wind suddenly stops and something massive is turning slowly away, say the words. Or don't. Either way, you've already knocked. If you've ever seen something that shouldn't have moved, comment "the house turned toward me" and subscribe for more. She follows those who listen.